Basically, our sport, we don't have a lot of movement in the sport.
Hmm.
Okay, so generally we are just standing on one place and shooting with our hands.
Hmm.
So physically, you don't require a lot of strength
Hmm.
to become great in this sport. I've
The first thing you do after when you face a failure? So, is it that you uh, lock yourself in the room, or do you aggressively start shooting at the wall? What is it like? How did you perceive or internalize this that you're not making it to Paris 2024? Today, in this podcast, we have Palak Gulia, who is India's finest 10-meter pistol shooter. She has won gold and silver medal in 2022 Asian Games. She has the highest score of 585 points, which was not achieved by any Indian woman in the last 3 years. In this podcast, we have talked about how she embraces failures, what is her mindset during the game, and what are her future plans. आपकी जर्नी स्टार्ट कहाँ से हुई?
I started shooting in 2019 when I was in ninth grade. So, like, it started from there. Actually, I used to do sports ever since I was, very young, like fourth grade, third grade.
Hmm.
But then, particularly this sport, I picked it up in 2019.
तो उसके पहले आप बाकी सारे स्पोर्ट्स में बस कोई परफॉर्म मतलब सोचते थे कि इसमें आगे करियर बनाना है?
Yes, I was more keen to do 100-meter sprint, like athletics.
Hmm.
I was very good in that. So, but then apparently after I started, just I was doing a lot of sports. Okay,
Hmm.
so after I got to know about shooting and I started it, my interest went from there to here. So
Yeah.
then I started doing this, and I thought of making this as a professional
Yeah, even
career.
even when I started when I was young, तो मैं
Mhm.
काफ़ी सारे स्पोर्ट्स खेलता था. आई वॉज इनटू अपार्ट फ्रॉम क्रिकेट एंड फुटबॉल मैं सारे स्पोर्ट्स खेलता था. जिमनास्टिक हो. हाँ.
Same. Apart from both of these sports, I've
हाँ,
also tried almost all the sports.
क्योंकि क्या होता था कि ये सारे स्पोर्ट्स इतने ज़्यादा सैचुरेटेड हो गए थे कि लाइक हर जगह पे लोग वही खेलते थे. और मुझे इतना ऐसा लगता था कि यार इसके अलावा भी इतने सारे अच्छे अच्छे स्पोर्ट्स हैं जो काफ़ी मतलब लोगों ने उनको कभी खेला ही नहीं है उस चीज़ को, या कभी उस चीज़ को कंसिडर नहीं किया. तो फिर मैं स्टेट लेवल तक गया हूँ स्केटिंग में. फिर मैं जिमनास्टिक्स करता था. तो आई एम सेल्फ ट्रेन जिमनास्ट. तो
Okay.
तो मुझे काफ़ी बार क्या
Nice.
तो मुझे काफ़ी बार क्या होता था कि स्कूल में मुझे काफ़ी बार ऐसे पनिशमेंट दे देते कि क्योंकि मैं अकेला जिमनास्टिक्स करता था और कोई रहता नहीं था वहाँ पे ऑब्जर्व करने के लिए. तो हाँ, वो सब चीज़ें थी. और आई वॉज ऑल्सो इनटू एथलेटिक्स. तो मैं भी लाइक 9th स्टैंडर्ड से लेके 12th स्टैंडर्ड तक आई वॉज अमंग द फास्टेस्ट इन माई स्कूल.
That's nice. Even in my school, like, we used to have sports day and sports meets and all, inter-school competition and so on. So even I was, especially in running, I was the best in my school. And obviously other sports as well, the team sports as well. So as a team, it would, be always like good. I would be making a good team along with my other teammates. So.
आपको टीम गेम्स पसंद थे या इंडिविजुअल गेम्स?
I always liked individual more because individual would let me test how good I am particularly. See, if I lose, it's my
हाँ.
fault, and if
हाँ.
I win, it's because of me.
हाँ.
So, in an individual sport, I can test myself more, like more precisely. So that is why I always preferred individual sports, and that is why I got into an individual sport as well.
हाँ, एक और टीम वर्क का पता है क्या एक बेनिफिट ये है कि तुम एक दूसरे के ऊपर ब्लेम कर सकते हो बाद में, तेरी वजह से हुआ, उसकी वजह से.
Yeah,
बट
yeah,
इन
that is it.
हाँ बट
In
हाँ.
individual, if you've done bad, it's all
हाँ,
yours.
तो पूरा अकाउंटेबिलिटी यू हैव टू टेक इन इंडिविजुअल.
Mm.
तो आपका फिर मतलब इंट्रोड्यूस कैसे किया गया शूटिंग कि आपने बस कोई साथ आपके आजू बाजू कोई एक शूटिंग रेंज था, या आपने कहीं पे कुछ मूवी देखी या कोई?
Actually, when I was in ninth grade,
हम्म.
so there was a recently opened shooting range in my school itself,
हाँ.
it's a 10-meter range. So it was new at that time. So before that, I didn't know about the sport. Like I knew nothing that there is a sport like
Hmm.
this that exists.
Ah.
So when I got to know, I started it out of
Hmm.
curiosity. Then later on, as my interest kept on becoming higher and higher, so I started it more seriously.
हम्म। तो फिर जो आपकी जो ट्रेनिंग हुई, तो ये स्टार्टेड इन 9th ग्रेड, तो उसके बाद आपने फिर कोई प्रोफेशनल ट्रेनिंग ली उस चीज़ के लिए, या यू वर जस्ट प्लेइंग इन स्कूल? कहाँ से आपने डिसाइड किया?
For around a year and a half, like 1 year and another 6 months, I was still, just used to go to school and train
हम्म।
and, like just for fun actually.
हाँ।
I didn't know I would be, I still didn't know that I would actually get into the sport, like professionally. So at that time, it was just, 1 hour in the morning. We had this morning sports concept in my school. So I used to do it over there early morning for 1 hour. And that was it. And afterwards, after this 1.5 year phase, COVID came.
हम्म।
So obviously during COVID everything stopped. So just like that, I also stopped my sports and everything because I would stay at home because we couldn't go outside. So uh, I didn't do it for another 1 year. I didn't touch my pistol and all. Even after that, when I just when COVID ended, so we got this news that nationals is going to happen in 1 month.
हम्म।
That is when I started training, and after that, since I started performing better and better, so I got into the sport.
तो आपने जो ट्रेनिंग ली, तो वो सिर्फ स्कूल से ही थी, या यू हायर्ड अनदर कोच आफ्टर लॉकडाउन?
After that, yes.
हाँ।
After lockdown, yes,
ओके।
definitely. I did train with professional coaches, and even now I do. So yeah.
So like you said कि 9th के बाद after 1 year you started, so how was your family supporting you? क्योंकि वो एज पे लोग बोलते हैं कि पेरेंट्स बोलते हैं यूजुअली कि पढ़ाई पे ध्यान दो, एंड यू आर प्रिपेयरिंग फॉर शूटिंग, तो कैसे हुआ वो सब?
Actually, when I was in fifth grade, I had shifted to Gurgaon.
हम्म।
Okay, so I shifted with the purpose of studies only to make my studies better.
हाँ।
That is what the motive of my parents was
हाँ।
to, like give me better education and so that I could do something as a choose a career in studies, academics. But then I also have a sports background. Like my parents have been very good in sports themselves. Never played any, like a professional matches or something, but they were always very good in sports.
हम्म।
So then when I got the opportunity, so likewise, just like my parents, I was also good at it. And then my interest became more into that
हम्म।
field of sports. So I chose that. But my parents were always supportive. Like it wasn't something like, okay, you're doing sports. No, you can't do it. I know that, the ratio of success in sports is way
हाँ।
less.
Yeah.
So, but then my parents were like, they believed in me. They
हम्म।
thought that I could do it. So, yeah.
So they were also into shooting, your parents, or they played different sport?
No, not into shooting. My dad used to like do a lot of sports, swimming,
हाँ।
running, and hurdles, and all kind of different cricket,
हाँ।
kabaddi. So like all sports. He was an all rounder.
Nice. And one thing I've noticed, the curtain which you have and the my curtain, it's similar. Just the color is different. If you observe.
Oh, oh yeah. Oh yeah, it's almost the same, just
Yeah,
the color different.
I have the same curtain, the same color in
Okay.
another room.
Oh, oh, that's nice. It's matching.
So like coming back to the question, so उसके बाद when you started, at what time did you realize कि अब you have to take this professionally, and you realized कि यार अब मैं ऐसे level पे पहुंच गई हूँ कि अब मैं यहाँ से और take off कर सकती हूँ. I'm ready for bigger things.
Uh, I played my first ever international in 2022, in the mid of 2022.
Hmm.
So before that, I was consistently performing well.
Hmm.
So even like when I got to know that I can possibly make it into the team for my first international, that was when I realized that I have the potential and I can do it. So that was when I started training more and more, and kind of like refined myself
Hmm.
to be a proper athlete and come out of the rest of the crowd. So that was when I realized it, and ever since then I've been doing okay, well, kind of.
हाँ. तो फिर स्कूल में आप कैसे थे, लाइक नो नॉट इन टर्म्स ऑफ एजुकेशन बट ओवरऑल?
I was, see, I wasn't a very shy kid. I've never been a shy kid. So, but I was like, I used to do good in extracurricular activities, like everything that includes like public speaking, art, and all sorts of sports. And I was okay in studies as well, like average or like a little above average. I never scored, bad marks or something. So I think I was overall okay. And uh, I don't think I've ever had any complaints from anybody as
Yeah,
well so far.
yeah.
Yeah.
Are you pursuing your bachelor's degree now, or you have stopped education?
No, no, I am. I'm doing BA from Punjab University right
Okay.
now. Yeah, it's my second year. I've just started my second year.
So how are you? How's your social circle now? Like, has the contests and the awards affected it, or you're still?
See, the thing is that ever since I got more and more into the sport, I lost touch with all the people. See, because
Yeah.
uh, if you want to do
Hmm.
something, I realize that you have to work very hard for it.
Yeah.
So with time, I lost touch with all my friends that were in school, and now I don't go to college also now.
Hmm.
Like
Yeah.
I just do it from home. Like
Mm.
it's a government college, but it's like they allow me to stay at home. I just go there to give my exams and also. So I haven't been in touch with a lot of people. It's just me, my parents, and but I think that is fine. I like it the way it is. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's fine. But yes, definitely. After I've started doing very well into sports, the touch that I lost,
Hmm.
after I got into the sports and I started working hard.
Hmm.
So somehow people come back and they acknowledge your hard
Hmm.
work
Yeah.
and all of that. Yeah.
As long as कि आप अपने साथ खुश हो, then it's not a big problem, because then
Yeah, yeah,
you always have
Mhm.
your family, and anyways you have those 2-3 friends who are really close to you.
Yeah, yeah, that is right. You don't need a lot of crowd to,
Yeah.
always give validations to you
Hmm.
for something, I believe. So I think I mean, the small circle that we have and especially my family,
Yeah.
like they are my biggest support.
Hmm.
So as long as I have them, I am good to go and fine.
Hmm. Uh, so how do you so what is the first thing you do after when you face a failure? So is it that you uh, lock yourself in the room, or do you aggressively start shooting at the wall? What is it like?
See, the thing is that in my sport specifically, it's a very psychological sport.
Hmm.
Okay, like more than physical, it's a psychological sport. So our mental tendencies and our mental, like our thinking, plays a very important role in our sport. Okay, so I can't be like after I've not. It's not like I've always won. I've had more
Hmm.
failures than I've won.
Yeah.
So like during the time, like let's suppose I've had a failure, so I can't be locking myself in a
Hmm.
room and like
Yeah.
obviously I feel bad, and during that moment it's like everything is gone, and you feel like nothing is there, nobody is there with you, and all sorts of things, like you're not doing well although you worked so hard. All of those things happen, but I think locking myself in the room, or like being aggressive
Hmm.
towards other people or my equipments and all, I don't think that is the
Hmm.
right thing. So I just kind of like keep quiet and try to handle my mind and myself, and then start preparing for the next, because what has already happened has happened.
Hmm.
You
Yeah.
can't change it. So I just move forward and just think like, okay, next time I'll do it,
Yeah.
kind of like give myself a boost.
Yeah. So like there's this quote for your situation which is appropriate. No amount of anxiety can solve care about your future, and no amount of regrets can solve your past problems.
Yeah, that is right. That is right.
So for elaborate more on how the sport is into psychological factors.
Basically, our sport,
Hmm.
we don't have a lot of movement in the sport.
Hmm.
Okay,
Hmm.
so generally we are just standing on one place and shooting with a hand.
Hmm.
So physically, you don't require a lot of strength
Hmm.
to become great in the sport. I've never seen some. We have people who do a lot of gym and a lot of exercising is important because it helps you regulate your body,
Hmm.
but I don't believe that, like in some sports, it's like the more strength you have, the better you will be,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Especially in the power sports. In our sport, it's not like that. It's like the stronger your brain is,
Hmm.
and the better you can handle your situation during a match, like the pressure and the nervousness, the anxiety, whatever you're feeling, the better you'll do in your matches. So I believe that in our sport, we do a lot more psychological training rather than physical training. We have, like, psychologists and all kind of sports science team always monitoring our, what we're
Hmm.
thinking, what we're doing, what we're eating, and just to help us with how we are behaving, like even in general life, not only in sports, because what we do in after our sport training, or that also impacts a lot in our sport
Hmm.
psychologically. So that is why it's very important.
So your sports involves more of a concentration rather than physical movement. Uh,
Yeah, that is it.
so every sport has some sort of injuries. So what type of injuries does shooting have?
We train with the right hand.
Hmm.
There are very few people in the world who train with their left hand.
Hmm.
Generally, almost everybody
Hmm.
plays with their right hand. So what happens is, in my event, the event that till now I have been doing 10-meter
Hmm.
air pistol, there are very less chances of an injury. Sometimes it can happen when you do not do workout, like not a lot of
Hmm.
workout, but just enough to keep your body and like not stiff,
Hmm.
like
Yeah,
you understand,
flexible,
right?
more of
So
range of
yeah,
motion.
flexible. Yeah, right. That is right. So just if you keep your body flexible, all kinds of injuries, you can, get rid of them, and they won't even come near you. So otherwise, what happens is there are people who don't do any kind of, like, workout, right?
Hmm.
A little bit is required.
Huh.
So what happens with those people is that they, over time, not, it won't happen immediately,
Hmm.
over time, let's suppose you've been doing shooting for 2.5 years or 3 years,
Hmm.
you'll start feeling pain and a little niggle in your shoulder.
Hmm.
So, and that would with time increase. I've had this phase. That is why I know
Hmm.
how
Huh.
I've had this phase, and it became
Huh.
very difficult to overcome it.
Hmm.
So, a shoulder injury, and when you have a shoulder injury, what happens is your hand starts moving a lot.
Hmm.
So it becomes difficult for you to, shoot the inner tens or
Hmm.
the perfect shots that you require.
Hmm.
So it's like direct connection to your shooting if you have any kind of shoulder injury.
So what I've observed is every time I want to click a picture, so this is a hack which I've found on YouTube. They say you hold your breath so that your palm does not shake a lot. So is this also applied in shooting?
Yes, definitely it is. I didn't know about this, what you have heard. I got to know it right now only, that there are people who, like when you take a photos and all, I didn't know about this. But yes, definitely in my sport, when I am shooting, like when I'm in my, on my target and, with my pistol and all. So at that time, I definitely put a hold onto my breath and just keep on holding it, fire, and then release or inhale.
Mhm. So that I've seen one of your videos wherein you have hold your breath for like 10 seconds. So like over there also there is a lot of inner thoughts that you have to manage, because it becomes really difficult for holding your breath like for more than 5 seconds. You start to feel that, okay, now I'm running out of breath, I need to breathe again.
Mhm. That is right. Actually, I remember it was in, like, it happened with me in one of my matches. So I was like, during my match, I was holding a lot. Okay,
Hmm.
so generally, most of the athletes, they don't hold for a long time so that they can, their breath won't
Hmm.
be up and down.
Yeah.
So that is why what they do is they hold for a shorter period of time and release their shots faster,
Hmm.
so that they don't have any problem with breathing and all.
Hmm.
And I am one of the players who holds for a very long time.
Hmm.
So because that is just my technique, I've always preferred that
Hmm.
way, that I hold more in the target. So that is why that has always been, like, breathing issues, and I when I'm in my target, sometimes I feel like, okay, there's no breath, I need to breathe again, or
Hmm.
else I'll not be able to shoot,
Hmm.
or else I'll, because somehow this oxygen, whenever your oxygen level goes low,
Hmm.
so it starts, your brain can only think about that at that point, so
Yeah.
you won't be able to think about your score or your pistol, your movement, nothing.
Hmm.
So that has happened with me. So that is why I'm recently trying to, change my habit a little bit, change my technique, and shoot a little faster, not very fast, but
Hmm.
a little.
Hmm. So, how often do you meditate? I mean, like meditate, or do you do some pranayam to get control over your breath?
Every day, every morning.
Okay. Uh, how often do you, see yourself winning or losing? So every athlete has their own dream or their failures. So like, how often do you see yourself winning or failing?
Till now, I haven't ever, like, I even try this, I always try to not think about the future.
Hmm.
Okay, so I, even if a match is like, let's suppose a match is in 1.5 months or one
Hmm.
month or 2 months,
Hmm.
right? So I try to not think about the match. I'll just focus on my training
Hmm.
and then just go there. And when I'm in the range over there in
Hmm.
another country, that is the moment I'll think about what I have to do today, or how is my situation today, how am I feeling today, and all. Before that, I always try to avoid, even if it comes into my brain, I tell my brain to, just forget about it, and I
Hmm.
indulge myself in other things, and like if I'm training and sometimes these thoughts come into my brain, then I try to do some different kind of things in my training that would help me to exclude those thoughts.
Yeah. A similar technique which I have been following is your thoughts are like taxis. Not necessarily
Mhm.
you have to onboard on each of them. You just have to let them pass by. Yeah.
Yeah, that is
Yeah.
right. Oh, it's a nice thing, I'll borrow this from you.
Yeah. Uh, what is your mindset during the game? When you pick up your pistol and you're aiming at the board, what is going on in your mind?
So generally what happens is, before our matches,
Hmm.
like let's suppose I know that today is my match,
Hmm.
okay, so it's different for every athlete.
Hmm.
Personally, I prefer that I generally, on the day of my match, I don't like socializing a lot. I don't like talking to a lot of people. I just keep it to myself.
Hmm.
Okay, just kind of try and regulate my thoughts, and manage everything well and take it slow. Do not hurry. I kind of focus on these things more, so that, and kind of they help me actually
Hmm.
during my match.
Hmm.
So when I'm playing, the better I've pre-prepared, like
Yeah.
the pre-preparation phase, the better I've done it, I'll be shooting better in my match
Hmm.
phase. So I've always tried to, like, exclude all kinds of thoughts and all kinds of contact to
Hmm.
people on the day of my match, so that, let's suppose I'm talking to you. So even if you say a hi to me, I'll be, thinking about it. Okay,
Hmm.
I talked to this person today, right?
Hmm.
So I try and only think about what I'm going to do
Hmm.
today, like during my match. So that is what my focus is on that day.
Hmm. So every sport has a recovery phase. So how your sport is different from another other sports in terms of recovery?
Mhm. See, what happens is, I have never taken a recovery break.
Hmm.
Recovery break, some people in off season take a break for 1 month
Hmm.
and 1.5 months, that kind of things. And if you talk about short, like the short ones, recovery break, yes, I do take regular breaks. Like let's suppose 1 day off in 2 weeks, something like that. Just so it's not because I'm tired or
Hmm.
something physically or mentally tired. No,
Hmm.
just so that I can get a refresh start, okay,
Hmm.
like a fresh start, so that tomorrow when I go, I'm all new, like, a new me, and I'm again wanting to do my sport. So that is why I take a day break in 2 weeks, so that the next time I go, I don't feel like, oh, this is just a regular thing. So that I feel like, okay, yesterday I did not do it, so today I want to do it. That is why I take breaks. Otherwise, I don't think breaks are as much necessary in our sport. And in the last 4 years of my career, I haven't taken a lot of recovery breaks. this right now, I just started shooting yesterday or today. Like yesterday, a little session, and today. So I have been taking a 1 month break now. This has been the longest break of my life till now. So, and I think it's going to be the only break because now we have an off season for 4 to 5 months.
Yeah.
That is why.
So, what did you do in the 1 month? Watch movies, play something else, or pursued your hobbies?
Just hobbies. Like we have me and my family all together. We have traveled and just done things like all the things that do not include my sport because I wanted to take a
Hmm.
break. It's been a
Yeah.
long time since I've been continuously, just being indulged in the sport. So we went for a vacation and then now I've been I did not do anything at home, no work, not helping anybody, just a
Yeah.
break for myself
Yeah.
and just, pursue my hobbies like reading and drawing and art and all of that. Yeah.
So, do you get time to study for your college, or you're completely involved in your training?
Actually, I only study when my exams are near. Like
Okay.
how we always did it
Yeah.
in school,
Yeah.
right? 1 week
Yeah.
before the
Yeah.
exam, when we know the
Yeah.
exam is on our head, we start studying. So that is what I'm always doing even now till today. So it's always like 1 week before my college exam, I'll be like, okay, I finally
Hmm.
have my exam. Now I have to study because at that moment,
Hmm.
it's do or die, right?
Yeah.
If you study, you'll pass, otherwise you'll not.
Hmm.
So that is why I study a week before. Otherwise, the rest of the time I'm always shooting, so I don't usually get the time to study. It's not like I don't I don't want to study
Hmm.
at all,
Hmm.
but it's just that I'm training the entire day from morning to evening,
Hmm.
so it's always that I don't get time to study. So in the last 1 week, I reduce a little bit of my shooting and include studies
Hmm.
into it.
Yeah.
So that is how.
So, I don't want to bring up this topic, but I'll still get it so that because I know that you are really strong enough to face this. But uh, how did you perceive or internalize this that you're not making it to Paris 2024?
Actually, see, I was very close.
Yeah, yeah, you
I
were
was
close.
like, I got the Olympic quota also.
Yeah, yeah,
Like that is the Paris Olympic
yeah,
ticket.
yeah.
So without the ticket, you cannot go, and I got the ticket.
Hmm.
But obviously, I couldn't make it, and for a little while, I was in a shock because I had worked very hard for
Yeah,
the
yeah,
past 4 years, but so had everybody else,
yeah.
right? So had all the other Indian team members or the people who got selected and the people who didn't get selected
Hmm.
just like me, right?
Yeah.
All of us had worked hard. So I always think that at least I came till here, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
And also by not getting into Paris Olympics, I have realized it has made me stronger in a
Yeah.
sense, way more stronger because I've come to realize that what I did before the Olympics, like before the Olympic
Hmm.
selection, wasn't enough.
Hmm.
That is what I think God has
Yeah.
gave me this message that it wasn't enough. You need to work harder
Hmm.
so that in the next Olympics you can make it,
Hmm.
right? So from this like this phase that
Yeah.
I had, and all the breakdown, and obviously after you don't get in, you feel like everything is
Yeah. Yeah.
crashed onto you, and so because it's very hard, and
Hmm.
Olympics comes once in 4 years.
Yeah.
But I think I have become stronger, and I'm going to bounce back very well
Yeah.
in the upcoming
For
time.
sure. I don't think there's anything stopping you right now. But I'll say that whatever happens, now you have this confidence that you have got the Paris ticket. Now you have this confidence that you can definitely get another next time because you have unlocked it. So it is like a level. You have
Mhm.
unlocked that level. Now you are ready for another one, which are more difficult and tougher.
That is right. See, what actually happens is if I wouldn't have got this Olympic quota,
Yeah.
I wouldn't know how it feels to get the quota, right?
Yeah.
I wouldn't know that, okay, you need to do this to get the quota.
Hmm.
So, but I have reached that phase. Okay, I've accomplished everything till that point.
Hmm.
Just the last point, I couldn't get onto that step.
Yeah.
So the rest of the staircase, I made it, but the last step I couldn't do it.
Hmm.
So I've realized that I have had a lot of accomplishments all this way.
Hmm.
So this was a little bit of, you know,
Hmm.
I always say it in this way that it was God showing me the right
Yeah.
way to
Yeah.
make it to this stage, right?
Yeah.
So next time when Olympics is going to be near, I'm going to work harder and definitely try my level best again.
Yeah. They say that every failure is a redirection towards a better opportunity. So
Yeah.
I hope, and I wish that you make it to Olympics because you have the potential and you have been India's top shooter. So there's no doubt that I'll again say there's no doubt nothing would be stopping you. Just last question. What would you want to say to the people who wish to get into 10-meter shooting sport?
I think that consistency and hard work is very important.
Hmm.
Without this, you cannot succeed. See,
Hmm.
uh, it's okay to have fun sometimes, but if you're trying to pursue this as a professional career, I think it's very important to be dedicated. You
Hmm.
cannot do it without dedication. And no, not only me, you ask any other player who has, who has been like, who are the top players in the country, everybody would say that without hard work, it's not possible because in not only like the sports,
Hmm.
not only in sports, in every field, hard work is very important to be able to
Yeah.
achieve something. And
Yeah.
and also do not let your failures set you back from other people. Those failures are what should make you stronger. You should come back always. You should always bounce back from those failures.
Hmm.
Yeah, so and that is why if you're pursuing 10 meter, please always work hard, be consistent, and do it because you like it.
Hmm.
Don't do it forcefully, or how some people just do it because everybody else is doing it. No,
Hmm. Yeah.
you do it because you like it. It's not
Yeah.
because everybody's doing
Yeah.
it because it's a how they say, a trend of doing something.
Hmm. True. So yeah, that's it. This was the whole podcast. Thanks, Palak.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you.